Welcome to the Thriving Soulpreneur Podcast. This is a space where we talk about human design, spirituality, and neuroscience, all applied to business and money. My purpose is to help struggling solopreneurs to run sustainable businesses, to become financially resilient, and to create powerful change within their communities and beyond. I am your host, Andrea Niño de Guzman, a numbers girl and neuro geek who left the corporate world to do what she does best, to catalyze transformations. I am thrilled and honored to have you here, and I really hope to serve you in the best way possible. Hello, everyone. We are live. Welcome to the very first episode of the Thriving Soulpreneur Podcast. My name is Andrea Niño de Guzman, and I'm going to be your host throughout this amazing journey. You all have no idea how excited I am to be here. This is actually something that I've been wanting to do for years. I've been following podcasts for almost 17 years now, right from the very beginning. And I always wanted to have my own podcast. I always wanted to speak to a microphone and just share my ideas, but I just kept on holding myself back because I didn't exactly know what I wanted to talk about. And I was very afraid of how others would perceive me and whether what I offer would be of value or not. But here I am. A few days ago, I just had this inner urge to just talk, to share information, ideas, concepts, insights with people. And it was a very strong urge that came from within. And it was a very different feeling from what I had experienced before, because before it was an idea of this is what everybody else is doing. I would like to do it too. It would be fun. But now it was like this inner guidance, this inner instruction of you need to do this and you need to do it now. So here I am. You're not going to see any fancy intros or outros or, fancy, sound effects right here, because this is my very first episode. And I'm here showing up without overthinking it, without falling into this need to be perfect, because I am following this inner urge that I have, and it feels amazing. It feels, I've been waiting all day just to record this episode. I'm so excited to just record it and to share it. So thank you for holding the space for me. Thank you for listening, and I'm really excited about what's going to come in the future with all the information and this basically this channel that is me being of service for you. So let's talk about this podcast. What is the Thriving Soulpreneur Podcast? For me, this is a space where we get to talk about human design. For those who know me, you know that I love human design. We get to talk about spirituality, neuroscience, and the application of these three aspects in business and with money. So just a disclaimer, I am not a traditional business coach. I am not here to show you how to launch, how to market, how to write content, how to sell. That is not my zone of genius. That is not what lights me up. I am here to guide you and to share my insights as to who you need to be or who you could be to help you reconnect with that potential that you have so that you can take your business to the level that you want. So I'm all about the heart and the mind and the connection between the heart and the mind. I'm all about the soul. I'm all about talking about deep topics and having those deep conversations. And the same thing applies with money. I know that there are wonderful coaches and experts out there who are going to tell you exactly the steps that you need to take to manage your money. That is not who I am. My focus with money is helping you heal the relationship with yourself so that you can create and you can reconnect to your creative powers and attract or create that life and that business and that success, however you envision that you really desire. So, and it's all about talking about the heart, those deep conversations, and just diving within to help you take your business and your abundance, your success to the next level. So why the thriving soulpreneur? And this is a term that came up to me a few months ago as I was just receiving several downloads regarding a more aligned business model. And I'm claricognizant, and part of my morning ritual also includes writing morning pages, and that is where all this information just comes through. Sometimes it comes through when I'm driving, or when I'm outside running, but more often it just comes in the morning. When I was in this process of receiving all these downloads, I would wake up at 4 a.m. with just information that I would just write down. And I didn't know how to make sense of it, but it was like boom, 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 boom. And the term thriving soulpreneur came in one of those downloads. So for me, a thriving soulpreneur is somebody who lives and does business from a place of freedom, from this deep inner peace that they have from within, where they're just so connected to their well-being and their happiness because they just are. They're not focused on how others perceive them. They're not focused on fulfilling external expectations. They're just connected within. They're not relying, or they don't even have expectations of others, because the trust that they have is fully from within. As such, a thriving soulpreneur is somebody who trusts their calling, who knows that they're here to create change, who are here to create not just change, but powerful change, because they are those people who are about to help us expand and break those traditional patterns, those traditional ways of doing things that may have worked for thousands of years, for hundreds of years, for decades, but are no longer working. And it's not just focused on what we do, but it's also focused on who we be. So for me, the thriving soulpreneur is somebody who continues to push the limits, push the boundaries of what else becomes possible, because they know that we can, as everybody changes and elevates and upgrades their beliefs and their actions, the collective as a whole also changes and continues evolving. A thriving soulpreneur is somebody who takes inspired action. Inspired action, I mean, they take action daily. So it's not just focused on dreaming and hoping, but they go out and do things. And that what they do is just guided from within by following what feels right for them, by following for what lights them up. It's not focused on what others are doing. It's not about creating healthy habits or productive habits because that's what the gurus tell you. A thriving soulpreneur is guided from within. And as such, they know exactly what actions or what steps need to be taken day in, day out in order for them to reach that vision or to reach that change that they want to bring into the world. And a thriving soulpreneur is not somebody who needs to work or hustle 12 hours a day, weeks on, but is somebody who honors their energy because they know that we are more than what we do. We are also beings of energy, and we need to protect and we need to clean and we need to clear our energy and maintain our body and honor our body as this container for all the energy that we have in order for us to keep on being of service, to keep on adding more to the lives of others. A thriving soulpreneur is somebody who mixes their intuition and their unique gifts into their business. So you could talk about woo, you could talk about magic. It's somebody who really takes into consideration not just the rational aspect, not just the thinking, the analytical mind, but they also take into consideration the emotional aspect of how they're feeling, of what their feelings, the information that their emotions are bringing through, and their instinct or their intuition. So they mix all three into their business and into how they manage their day-to-day and how they manage their business. This is somebody, like I said, who runs a business without this hustle. And we might even say that they don't run their business. This is somebody who is a quantum creator that absolutely enjoys what they offer, what they bring to the world. But at the same time, they're also deeply, deeply, deeply connected to the universe, source, God, Gaia, however you want to call it. But they're deeply connected and they know that they're constantly creating. And as such, they be fully responsible for what they create. This is somebody who shows up authentically and shares from their heart. This is somebody who knows that they need to listen to their heart before they listen to their mind. They are individuals who charge what they're worth, who are not only not just driven by money. Yes, money is important because it allows them to have that enough freedom, space, time, peace, whatever you need. But money is not the end goal. And they maybe they won't even have specific goals. They're just driven, like me with this podcast, by this deep inner wisdom, this deep inner knowing that this is the next step that they need to take. And as such, they're in this constant co-creative state with the universe. They're constantly co-creating. They see themselves as creators. They don't just see themselves as people who are victims of their context, of the circumstance. They see themselves as people who are incredibly powerful, who are energetic beings, who are constantly creating in the world. And a thriving soulpreneur is somebody who taps into their own wisdom and love and compassion to create this change. So they're not driven just by the knowledge, not just driven by the rational side, not just driven by past experience, but they're driven from within, from this place of being of service, from this place of wanting to help others and to create powerful change. For me, this is the embodiment of somebody who is deeply, deeply, deeply attuned to the universe or to source. This is somebody who has released all 3D conditioning around not enoughness, shame, guilt, worry, especially when it comes to business and money, or in this case, since that's what I'm focusing on, this is somebody who has released all those past stories, all those past memories of pain around not enough, not good enough, not ready. This is somebody who does business from this place of unconditional love and deep trust in themselves, trust in the universe, and they make decisions using their intuition and their emotional wisdom in addition to the rational knowledge. If we take into consideration human design, the thriving soulpreneur is somebody who has fully embodied their energy, who lives from the highest aspect of their energetic definition, and who is serving from their highest possible self. And why is this thriving soulpreneur here? Because this thriving soulpreneur, or this community of thriving soulpreneurs that we are all creating, that we're moving towards, that we are transforming into as such, this community is coming forward because they are going to change the way that we do business. They are going to be the ones that challenge the ways that business is being run today. They challenge the traditional ways, maybe even the excessive competition, the this or that thinking, the black or white, the focus on lack or not enoughness. A thriving soulpreneur is here to challenge all of that when it comes to business. A thriving soulpreneur is somebody who is going to come in and bring into the conversation their intuition and their unique gifts and their magic and their spirit. A thriving soulpreneur is somebody who is going to not only just change the way that business is done, but also the way that we relate to one another. Because it's no longer going to be just about competition. It's going to be more about collaboration. And my vision with all of this and why I want to do this is because I feel that I'm here to serve you. You, that you are a coach. You, the healer. You, the mentor. You, the consultant. You, the solopreneur. That you know that you have that vision in your mind of the change that you want to create, but you're still not sure of how you're going to do it. Or maybe you keep putting yourself down, or maybe you keep digressing or procrastinating. I want to help that coach, that healer, that mentor, so that they can reconnect with their truest and most authentic and highest self, so that they can then bring into this reality, that vision that they have of change, of expansion. And not only that, but I know that as we do that as a collective, yes, we are going to influence the way that business is being done. And my vision is that in a few years, it's not just going to be the coaches or the healers who choose to do business this way, in a more aligned way, in a more sustainable way, but maybe even traditional business owners who choose to see that there's a better way of doing business, who choose to see themselves as creators, and then can finally leave this concept of lack. So that's my vision. That's what I feel that I'm here to do. That's what I hear that I hope to bring into the conversation. This whole concept and of what does a thriving soulpreneur do and think and feel and be, and how we can really not only just change the way that we do business, but also start changing the way that we relate to money, and we can start healing the past wounds that we carry inside ourselves around that not enoughness, not good enough, the shame and the guilt and the worry and the fear, so that we can start then connecting to our most and highest authentic selves. Imagine what it would look like if we lived in a world where everybody showed up from their highest and authentic self. If everybody focused and listened from within and paid attention to that inner wisdom or that inner guidance, instead of looking outwards for that validation or that external expectation of them. Imagine how pain-free the world could be if we could achieve that. So that's what I see, and that's how I want to guide others, and how I would love to create this community that is focused on helping others achieve the same. So I know that it's not just going to end with me. I know that I'm just going to be that one tiny little drop that's going to create that ripple effect, and that's going to make it, and that ripple effect is going to impact others, and it's going to be even bigger. And I hope that everything that I bring does not just stay with me, but it continues to be shared with others. So, who am I to talk about all of this? I'm just a girl. I'm just a woman who has been through it all. I'm going to share very quickly a little bit of my story about my past, my background. I am somebody who loves human design. I am a 6'3" emotional manifesting generator. By trade, I'm a numbers girl. When I was in college, I studied business and economics, and then went on to do a master's in corporate finance. And I would say my early years, maybe up until I was 38, 37, I was very old school in the way of how to do business. Very rational, very, very analytical. And I spent basically the first 50 years of my professional life just honing these hard skills: negotiation, selling, project management, starting new businesses, creating new products, the marketing aspect, not just the financial projections, but it was a lot of this energy of hustling and, very aligned to how many corporations are run today. And I really discovered how I loved marketing and product development and finance and being able to mix them together. But at the same time, while I was doing all these things and running these huge corporations and, being part of a very select executive team, I was also struggling with my imposter syndrome. I climbed the corporate ladder very fast. I was named CFO or Chief Financial Officer of a pretty large corporation here in Bolivia by the time I was 28, and I didn't really feel like I had enough experience or hours to be able to manage a company basically on my own. It was me and another manager. We were the ones solely responsible for everything. And all of that just triggered this voice in my head that just kept on reminding me that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't belong, that I was a failure, that eventually somebody would find out that I was a fake. I was the only woman in the executive team. I was the only woman in a handful of meetings, especially when it comes to finance and banking. in many, many situations, I was the only woman. And not only that, but I was the youngest woman. So I felt that I had a lot to prove. And as a result, I just developed this persona of the superwoman. I really wanted to be, the super executive that never said no, that was always there, always available for a trip, for a business meeting, for everything. But I also wanted to be a super mom. I wanted to be that super wife. I wanted to be the super everything. And I ended up creating this persona that just put on a lot of pressure in me, because it felt like I had a lot of expectations to fulfill and I could not let anybody down. I was the first one from my mother's side to have a high profile corporate or executive job. And I felt that they were also living through me, and I didn't want to let them down. I didn't want to let my parents down. I didn't want to let anybody down. And as a woman, I didn't even want my boss or my colleagues to think less of me, or that I couldn't handle the stress or the responsibility because of my age and because of my gender. So what ended up happening was, by, I would say, 2016, 2017, I was running and growing 2 companies at the same time, huge companies, each of them worth millions of dollars, making millions of dollars. And I was running them simultaneously. And I burnt myself out. I got very, very sick. This is a story that I'll probably save for another time. But in that process, I discovered coaching. I first started with nutritional or wellness coaching in an effort to heal myself. So I changed my lifestyle, the way that I ate, how I exercised, and down the line, then I discovered life coaching, then came neurocoaching, then came hypnosis, then came RIM, which is another practice of subconscious reprogramming, then came tapping, and also human design. And all of that, you would think, oh, wow, she's like mega prepared. Yes, that's how I project. That's how other people see me. And I think this is also what this podcast is about. It's about having those deep, honest conversations as well, and cutting the crap and cutting out the facade and the masks, and just speaking the truth of who we are and how we feel. Because when we speak the truth of those stories, I feel that's what opens up into having deeper and more honest conversations. So it's very easy for me to portray this persona of having it all, of being very successful, of knowing what I'm doing, of having it under control. And I would say that for much of my life, it's been anything but, right? And that has created a lot of pressure within me of, again, wanting to fulfill those expectations of how other people perceive me. But going back to why I studied all of this, because I felt that I wasn't ready, that I wasn't good enough, that I needed more information. I needed to be more prepared in order for somebody to hire me. And I have at least 20 different certifications. I've only mentioned the ones that I really, really value, but there are a whole other range of, more corporate strategic certifications, like customer experience and design thinking and all the agile tools. I have so many, because inside of me, there was still this thought or this voice of, you need to be more prepared. You need to be ready. You need to have more experience. How are they going to hire you when you're not enough and not enough and not enough? And it wasn't until human design crossed my path that I was able to understand why I was doing this, where this came from. It wasn't until human design that I was able to understand what conditioning meant and what were my blind spots that I wasn't seeing. So this is why I love human design, because it gave me that permission to just be myself. Just be myself. And this is why for me, it's so important for others to learn about human design. We're going to talk a lot about human design, and not just about, the general aspects, but specifically when it comes to money, and also when it comes to doing business from this place of, just, again, embodying this thriving soulpreneur energy that I was mentioning above. So, that's what I wanted to share with you today, a little bit of my story of how I came across human design. In the process, as I was in corporate and going through the burnout, and then with coaching and whatnot, I didn't have a healthy relationship with money. It's not that I came from hardship. I came from a very privileged family. I had access to many resources that allowed me to, study all of this and to live a very comfortable life while doing it. But again, that fueled my not enoughness, because it was money that I inherited from my dad. It was money that I didn't make on my own. And therefore, for me, it felt like I had nothing. There was a lot of shame as to, how I spend, if I save or not, how much I earn, how much others expect me to earn, how much I charge. When I started coaching, there were many feelings that I went through. And something that's very important for me to tell you is that I don't see myself as a guru. I am definitely not at this thriving soulpreneur stage. This is an energy that I connected with, and that this is what I'm here to share. But for me, I'm still in this constant state of deconditioning and growing. I don't think I'm there yet, and I'm using air quotes, because for me, there is no there. For me, the stage, the process or the path is what brings you that information, is what takes you to that next level. But it's a constant and evolving matter or journey. It's not a single straight line. And I would be lying if I told you, that I had multi-million-dollar launches and I was running a multi-million-dollar business and I had it all figured out. No, I don't have it all figured out. No, my business is still not as successful as I envision it, because I'm in this process of healing my own past and healing my own journey and healing my own stories and healing my own memories of who I am and what I'm here to do, and healing a lot of conditioning around self-worth. I have a completely open head and a completely open will. And for me, my open will center is the one that carries a lot of stories around not enoughness. And that is what I continue to heal day in and day out. So I don't want you to see me as this expert, as this guru. No, I'm just an average person who is completely passionate about this topic and who really avoided talking about money for a long time because I didn't feel qualified to do it. Even if I have the rational qualifications, of having studied finance and economics and business, even if I have the experience, I didn't feel that I had embodied enough of this information for me to share it. But ever since I started downloading this information, it's like for me, it was like this pressure again from this inner wisdom that was telling me, yes, it's time. Your time is now. You need to share this information now. And my inner dialogue was like, hell no, we're not talking about money. Nope. We can talk about anything else but money. But the message kept coming back of, no, the timing is now. You need to talk about money now. So I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. I am stepping into this space with a lot of self-love and compassion and honoring you as well, because I know that my past challenges, my current challenges might be your past or current challenges as well. And if we can talk about them together, and if we can shed light to those challenges together, then I feel that we can both continue our journey and continue evolving, continue healing these stories, ideas, and memories and pains related to money. And when we heal that, then our business and the way that we see business also transforms, because it's not only just about making money just to pay the bills or earning enough money just to do X or Y. When you heal yourself and you heal the relationship that you have with money, starting with you, then all of a sudden more opportunities, I feel that more opportunities open up. You start seeing your business from a completely different perspective. You start allowing, surrendering a lot more. And as you lower your stress response, because you're no longer operating from fear or from lack or from this survival mode, then you allow yourself, or you give yourself permission to create that your inner wisdom or your inner guidance is wanting you to create. When we lower the stress levels and when we heal money, when we heal the relationship that we have around money, then we can start listening within, and we quiet the mind and we start listening from our hearts, and we start operating from our hearts. So that's what I wish for you. That is what I wish for all of us. And that's what we're going to be talking about for the next few episodes. All right. Okay. So we're 30 minutes in. Thank you so much for listening, for coming with me, for walking with me in this journey. I'm again so excited, so honored, I feel so privileged to be here, to be sharing this with you. And from the bottom of my heart, I wish you the best. And I really, really hope that any information, any insights, even if it's just a phrase, it serves you, it helps you, it inspires you, it moves you in the way that you need. It serves you in the way that you need at that moment. So yes, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. I love you all. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.